How's it going, guys? I figured the more videos I record in advance, that means, the less I have to do later. So that's why I'm recording like 3 or 4 TCGOs today, this being the second of them. I don't know if I'm going to get the other 2 done, but this is going to be a Lost World game against a guy by the name of goGoGOAL, who is somewhat unfamiliar with how Lost World operates, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of shows up later on. But I've tweaked this deck a little bit, as I was talking about in the first game that I recorded, in that this deck no longer runs Mime Juniors and Slowpoke. It's mainly just to run Ghastlies, get them out as quick as possible, get Gengars going, got the Pecoms and such and all that shit, and then you're good to go with everything. So, I don't really know what he's running. All I know is it has Trainer Lock, which can be pretty nasty for me depending on how quickly he gets that Vileplume in play. And the thing is that he does get it into play fairly quickly, which is actually what's going to give me a lot of difficulty going on here, since a lot of my Ghastlies rely on rare candies to evolve, and if I have Haunter's Prize, then I'm kind of stuck. But what I can do right now is I can use Dual Ball. I've swapped those out, just because things and reasons. And then I also put a couple Dittos in here after that last match I had, since I thought, oh, hey, that'd be a good idea. It limits the bench. Probably run 1 or 2 of them just because, they make good junk arm things otherwise. I have just a couple of spaces for cards, and I suppose Dual Ball was a decent option, as was Ditto. So for now, I'm going to use Mr. Mime to look at his hand, and I want to see if he's actually stuck or if he's just waiting on something. And it kind of looks like more or less he might be a little bit stuck in terms of getting Pokemon onto the field, which is why I don't want to give him a new hand. If anything, I want to put an energy on that Ghastly, get it out of here, go into Cleffa, and shuffle out my own hand. He probably sees that I have an N, but I see that he's stuck. I don't want to help him out at all because I'm a dick. So that's also Tay. She has really inconvenient timing, and I'm just going to go ahead and fix that real quick. But for now, I do draw into a Haunter. I don't have a Gengar or a Pokemon Communication to get a Gengar, which kind of sucks. But he's actually going to go ahead and use Judge just to shuffle out our hands anyway. And then I forget what happened there, but kind of glitched out. But as you can see, we still end up with 4 cards. Now I get a Gengar, but I don't have a rare candy, which is just big problem for me. But thing is I don't like this hand either. He's going to get set up before I am, so regardless of what happens right now, I have to Eek or I have to N. I decide that the best thing to do is probably going to be to N, even though I am giving him a better hand. But I get a Haunter, I get an Energy, I get 2 rare candies, no Gengar, so they're just popping into my hands at the most inopportune times. But the thing is, I still have something to shuffle it out, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Eek again, and I am playing with Magnets. I don't really know why, but I don't know. Anyways, wake up again. If he evolves into, what a fucking thing, Beartic. Beartic's kind of like Cobalion in that it has an attack that prevents me from attacking next turn. So if he gets that into play, it's like Iron Breaker, but it does 30 less, and then he has access to another attack that does 80 damage. So it's an inferior Cobalion in terms of how much energy it takes to get away with this stuff, but Cobalion is a legendary, so that kind of makes sense. He's going to Sage us up, get a couple of things going. Now, the plan I have right now is to put that Psychic Energy down on the Haunter, and he's more than likely going to end up killing off this Clef in some way, shape, or form. He has a Minccino out. Don't remember if he put a DCE on it, but if he does have a Pokemon Communication, so he can get that Oddish out, and if he really wants to get the Gloom or the Vileplume in play, depending on if he has rare candies or not, he can, but I'm thinking the thing he's probably going to do is get the Beartic into play to stop me from shuffling around my hand, to stop my setup, since I wasn't kind enough to help. Nah, he probably would have stopped it out anyway, or stopped it anyway. But Evolve's going to take me out for, 50 damage, that kind of stuff. That right there will probably be the thumbnail for this video, since I picked different Pokemon for each thumbnail. But for now, he's sitting as a Gloom on the bench. I'm still able to use trainer cards, but it doesn't make much sense to right now, just because, I'm already, like, almost fully evolved anyway. If I was still a Ghastly and I had a rare candy and Gengar, great, that would work out. But all I can really do right now is put another Psychic Energy on there, go for the Sleep Poison, and then hope that I'm actually able to take him out. And I want to go for Twins just because my odds of coming into a Gengar are probably going to be better that way. And they are. So get to put down another Ghastly. But I'm going to go for the Sleep Poison right now in hopes that I can use Twins next turn to get a rare candy to evolve the Ghastly on the bench, and then just use the Haunter exclusively for putting things to sleep. And it does keep him asleep. He is taking poison damage. He can't switch it out unless he has a switch. But he probably wouldn't run Switch in the same deck as, Vileplume. You just keep it on the bench and then you're good to go. Which is why, there's Professor Um's training method that is a supporter as opposed to a a trainer, he's allowed to use it. And now Trainer Lock is in play because of Allergy Flower. And this means I am no longer allowed to rare candy up for Gengar. So if I'm going to evolve one, it has to be the one that's in play right now. But the good thing is that Beartic is still asleep. So I'm still pretty safe in doing this. I don't know what I'll do beyond that. You know, what I can do to shield the Gengar to buy me some time. But that's really it. At least he's asleep. And he still stays asleep thanks to sleep poison. So I decided I'm going to put another one on that Haunter. And do I evolve? What do I do? Since Trainer Lock is in play, I really have to think carefully about what I'm going to get. It's probably going to end up being, I think I ended up just getting like Lost World and then like Gengar or something like that. Or maybe Double Seeker. Probably Double Seeker just to be weird like that. Even though I can't even use him this turn. I don't know. I give it some thought to figure out what would be good. And I guess I just decided Spiritomb to give him a new hand. And a Seeker for next turn to get it back into my hand. Or, you know what? Double Seeker. Double Seeker is what I get. And it turns out to be really stupid because I think about it afterwards and I'm like, wait, I can't use Seeker this turn anyways. And, I think I just end up ending out my hand next turn anyway, so whatever. Looking at his hand, he doesn't have anything. So the best thing I can do is I can put 4 damage counters on Beartic to kind of accelerate the process there. But if he wakes up and he Sheer Colds next turn, then I won't be able to attack, so I'll have to get out of there, go to Ghastly, let Ghastly die, come back in, and then just do that. But it seems like he does know what he's doing in that he doesn't have any Pokemon in his hand anymore. And I'm just going to put damage counters on that. If I could have, you know, banked on Sleep being a for sure thing, like you kind of can in the games, I would have started putting damage counters on Vileplume just to be able to use my trainer cards again. But I don't have any trading cards in my hand anyway, so... what does he do? He goes for Sage's Training. I'm going to discard a couple things, get a couple things back. And I forgot to take my Skype off. Shh, shh, shh. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. It's okay. Okay. Looking at Beartic, 70 HP. Got I can use Curse Drop to put 40 damage on him, and then the poison will take care of the other, what is it, 20, I suppose? So at the end of this turn, and then once I Curse Drop, and then at the end of the next turn, if he doesn't switch it out, he'll die. So after X amount of time, he finally just picks 2 things to put into his hand. I don't know what. Probably going to end up being basic Pokemon, so I can't snipe him out of his hand anymore, even though I do run plenty of Seekers in this deck, just to get them back into the hand. That's it's pretty cool. So... cool thing is, as well, is a lot of the things in this deck have resistance to normal. So once I get the Beartics out of the way, the Minchinos are, you know, their damage output is going to be pretty reduced. For now, what do? I am retreating out into Ghastly, and then I'm probably just going to put a Psychic Energy. No, do I N out? I guess I N out. Okay, whatever, that's cool. What do we got going on? Have Communication, which I can't use. Junk Arm, which can't use. Just use a Trainer card. Pretty much stuck at this point. Put the Psychic Energy on Ghastly, I believe, just to get 1 damage counter on Beartic, just to kind of accelerate the poison, I guess. I don't really know. It doesn't really have any other purpose, but now he's got, you know, 10 damage counters on him, and he's got 30 HP left, meaning that Curse Drop will only take 2 to kill him off at the end of next turn. Then I can put the 2 damage counters on something else. Don't really know what else yet. But the main thing killing me right now is that damn Vileplume. Trainer Lock is making this hard. The cool thing is, though, is Vileplume doesn't shut down stadiums. So if I still manage to get 6 Pokemon into the Lost Zone, then I'm good to go. But as you can see, guys, the video is still halfway through, so I'm not going to pull these anytime soon. But he's got plenty of Sage's Trainings, and he's discarding Pokemon because he knows he doesn't want them in his hand. I'm also looking at the deck size. He's looking a little bit thin right now. And he's got 17 cards, 5 prizes to get him in, you know... 5 prize cards to win in, I should say. But he'll just take out my Ghastly, and then I can just go in with Gengar and just be good from there. But I got a little bit of damage on Gengar. I don't really want to deal with that too much. Just decides to go for the other attack just because I can, or he can, whatever. Ditto is a new addition to this deck. I don't know if you guys saw the last live narration if you're watching this video. What Ditto does is it actually limits the amount of Pokemon he can have on his bench from 5 to 4, and if he has 5, he has to discard 1. Now, the thing that I was convinced about is that by doing this, that Pokemon would have ended up in the Lost Zone because of Gengar's Pokepower, which is Catastrophe. But it has to be a knockout. It can't just be a technical discard. Like if, I don't know. If I draw a prize card in order for knocking it out, then it ends up in the Lost Zone. I guess that's how it works. But just going to go for the Pokemon Collector and then I decide that the best things to get in this situation are probably going to be another Ghastly, and then 2 Spiritombs. I don't really have any other use for getting 2 Ghastlys and a Ditto, you know, just Spiritombs to shuffle out his hand since he does seem to know what he's doing. And I do have a Seeker, so I can put down a Spiritomb, get another one back, and then just be good to go. But I need this Beartic out of the way, so I'm going to put 2 damage counters on that, and then I will start hurling next turn. It's right around here where he starts talking to me about my deck, like, oh, this deck is kind of hard to build, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it needs very specific cards, and I'm like, you're damn right it does. But there's one of my Haunters, which is kind of cool. So he's like, quite hard to build. And I'm like, okay. Yours or mine? Because yours doesn't look too hard. I mean, you got the Vileplume. The Vileplume is probably going to be the hardest thing to get in this deck out of anything. Because of its value right now. The booster that it's actually in is kind of shitty. I think it's just got that and Weavile. Those are the only real things that it has going for it. But he puts down Pichu just so he knows I can't get it out of the hand. But it is in danger of being curse dropped. But the cool thing here is because of my resistance to normal, because I'm a ghost, he doesn't actually manage to knock me out. I have 10 HP left, meaning I can hurl into darkness some things from his hand. I'm going to look at the cool thing about having 2 Mimes in this deck now, which is another tweak I did. I can look at his hand before Spiritomb, play down Spiritomb, and then look at his hand after Spiritomb to see if it's going to be worth it to curse drop or to hurl into darkness, depending on how many things he might have going on there. So shuffles out his hand, and then I get to use the second Mime, which is what I've been talking about a lot, and I figured I might as well do that. There's only 1 Pokemon there, and it's going to stay there for a while because he can't put down anything else on the bench thanks to Ditto. The best thing to probably do right now is to, I believe I curse drop the Pichu, or I go for the Seeker to bring something back into my hand, and then just... okay, it looks like I decided to hurl the 2 things in his hand. So I guess that kind of makes sense. He brings Pichu into his hand to try to dodge it, even though it's like, whatever, I would have done that. I actually end up getting more Pokemon this way because he chose the Pichu to get into his hand. If I did Curse Drop just the Pichu, I would have only gotten 1. But since I used the Seeker, he has to pick 1, and that got me 2. So I guess that was a little bit of a better play. For now, he doesn't have as many Pokemon on the bench. And he can't really take advantage of that since he can't put Pichu back down again. He doesn't have any in his hand, I'm pretty sure. And because of that, and the normal resistance, things like that, I believe my Spiritomb also has a resistance to normal, so that's going to help out a lot. But I know that his hand's stuck yet again because I actually cleaned it out. So what I need to do right now is I need to get myself into another Gengar because that's how this deck runs. But I'm going to go ahead and shuffle out. And then if I don't get a Gengar, I can retreat and let Spiritomb take hits. Turns out I draw into Twins, which is perfect. So get to put the Psychic Energy on my Haunter, switch out, go to Spiritomb, let it take do the waves, which are, you know, they would normally be doing 60. And right now he's talking to me about my deck, but because the resistance is 40, which means I can take 2 of them. So he's like, you have to find specific cards and whatever. His grammar's not really too good, but whatever. So what do we got going on? And then right here, I guess he's really not paying attention to resistances and stuff like that, which is probably what ends up costing him the game. If he was actually paying attention, then he could have gone into Beartic, and this would have been over a hell of a lot sooner. But because he's not paying attention, he keeps going for the do the wave, and then, you know, it does less damage because reasons and stuff like that. See, he's got it good to go, and it's not like Machino really has a high retreat cost. It's got 1. I guess he just really wants to hang on to that double colorless for a long-ass time. And right there, he probably uses Copycat because he's got Pokemon in his hand. He wants to flush them out. I don't know how much are left in his deck, but I'm going to get some Seekers, things like that. That would be fantastic. For now, I can use Twins to get a Gengar, and then probably a Seeker. I think that's what I decide to do. Or Gengar and Lost World. Duh, I'm going to have to draw in a Lost World eventually. Might as well do it now. I don't think he's going to have any Stadium cards in this deck anyway. So, Mr. Mime to look at his hand, see if there's anything. There's just a Vileplume. Really doesn't benefit me too much to have this happen, and it's like I don't really want to put down another Spiritomb just to shuffle it out just yet. I'd rather wait until Gengar can do something. So I'll let that Spiritomb on the active spot die, bring in Gengar, put down the next Spiritomb to shuffle out his hand, and I should be good to go. For now, I'm going to put down, or do I put down this next Spiritomb? I'm pretty sure. How can Psychic resist normal? And I'm just like, because Ghost. Duh. So no, it's not fighting yet, dope. Ghost is immune to normal in the video games. And what the hell is that noise? There's like this weird rattling noise. That was weird. So right there, I was just typing out something for you guys to laugh at because I didn't actually end up sending it. But he just ends up taking out my Spiritomb from there, and we're getting near the end of the game, as you can tell. So I do have Lost World going on. There's a possibility he drew Pokemon from the prize cards and things like that. So I'm going to use Mr. Mime to look pre-Spiritomb, see if there's enough Pokemon. There are 3 in his hand, guys. I don't even see what he typed there. He just ends up running before I'm actually able to check. So, because he knows that I got, well, I don't think he knows that I got Lost World, but he knows that the instant I get 6, I'll win, and then it's only a matter of time from there before I end up getting it. So he wasn't really paying attention because of that. He ended up losing the game. So stupid plays on my side and on his side too, you know, from time to time. That's how TCGO works. So if you guys enjoyed that game anyway, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. That'll probably do it for this second video I'm recording on this Sunday afternoon. I'm probably just going to end up playing Persona 4, Dead Space 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, just a bunch of video games all day while I wait for shit to render for you guys, for all the good little boys and girls. So that'll do it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.